Have you ever found yourself just totally stuck in analysis paralysis? Like you're waiting for the perfect moment or you need this 100% absolute certainty before making a major life choice.
Oh yeah. I mean, we all do it. We
Uh-huh.
spend our whole lives trying to build up these little personal empires of certainty.
Exactly. Like we want the universe to hand us a signed contract saying, yes, this career change will work out perfectly before we actually take a step.
Right. We treat uncertainty like it's a bug in the system, but it's actually just a feature of being alive.
It really is.
Yeah.
And while that profound tension is exactly the territory we're exploring today, welcome to the deep dive.
Thanks. I'm really excited for this one.
Yeah, we have a truly brilliant pairing of sources to pull apart today. So we're looking at a highly specific astrological forecast by Tarot by Hixie, and this covers the week of April 13th through the 19th, 2026.
Which is an incredibly intense week, by the way.
Oh, totally. But we are analyzing it alongside a companion sci-fi short story written by the same author, and it's called The Calculus of Fire.
It's just such a clever way to digest this information. Like the astrology gives us this raw cosmic weather report.
Right, the energetic currents.
Yeah, exactly. And then the sci-fi story acts as this massive, vivid simulation of it. It shows us how a society might actually fracture and evolve when it gets hit with that exact kind of energy.
Which brings us to our mission today, right?
Yeah.
We're trying to extract the core lesson from both of these texts.
And that lesson is learning the crucial difference between true courage and just impulsive theater, especially in a world that is deeply unpredictable.
Okay, let's unpack this, because Heisey's forecast does not ease us in at all. It immediately declares this period as a major escalation in something called the Great Unraveling.
Yeah, the Great Unraveling. It's an ominous title, right?
Very. So what exactly is unraveling here? Are we talking about like systems or psychology or what?
Well, we are unraveling the fantasy that we can postpone our own lives until we have perfect information. That's the overarching theme for the week.
Wow.
The forecast paints a picture of a period that's just defined by raw fire, right? Initiation and truth just trying to blast right through our polite avoidance.
And it sets that up right out of the gate, right? On Monday, there's this collision between Mars and Neptune.
Yes, Mars conjunct Neptune.
Which, just to clarify, Mars represents our drive, our hunger, that urge to just go. And Neptune is the realm of dreams, illusions, that deep fog.
Exactly. So when they align, inspiration and confusion arrive in the exact same package.
Oh, man. That sounds messy.
It is. The forecast actually warns that you might feel this overwhelming urge to charge forward, like you've been handed sacred instructions from the universe.
But the actual path ahead is probably hazy, right?
Incredibly hazy.
Right.
The trap is charging forward just because an emotion feels intense, not because your foundation is actually solid.
And this astrological setup is just perfectly mirrored in the calculus of fire. We get introduced to the Meridian Imperium.
Right, this vast civilization.
Yeah, 1,000 star systems. And they're governed by the Institute of Continuity. Their entire society is basically addicted to predictive models.
They don't even really govern in a traditional sense. They use these vast probability engines to map human behavior across time.
It's like they've institutionalized our fear of the unknown.
That's a great way to put it. I mean, biologically, uncertainty usually meant a predator was in the bushes, right? Uncertainty meant death.
So we are hardwired to crave a sure thing.
Right. And the Imperium just took that biological quirk, mechanized it, and built an entire empire on it.
Which brings us to the characters. We meet Director Helvek, the head of the Institute, and he fundamentally believes that acting without absolute certainty is like a crime.
It's dangerous to him. But then you have archivist Lyre Ven, and she brings him this terrifying anomaly.
She notices people are changing, right?
Yeah. She sees that people on the fringe worlds are starting to deviate from the expected response patterns. They're acting without waiting for consensus.
And honestly, the Imperium's delay for the sake of certainty, it's so relatable. Think about how you might endlessly scroll through reviews before buying something, or research a career for months without ever applying.
Oh, totally. We delay for certainty all the time.
What's fascinating here is how archivist Lyre Ven diagnoses the fatal flaw in their society.
Yeah, she points out to the council that the Imperium operates on this premise that optimal action arises from maximum information.
Which sounds completely logical on paper.
It does. But because of that, they created a complete dependency. They lost the human capacity to just make a judgment call. They mistook delay for wisdom.
And they mistook caution for strength. And In a rapidly changing world, waiting for perfect data isn't safe. It's actually the biggest risk you can take.
Because while you're waiting for the data, the ground is shifting underneath you. The parameters change.
And that fog of waiting, that dreamy hesitation from Monday, that is about to get blasted away by a massive shift in momentum.
Oh yeah, enter Tuesday's transit. Mercury shifts out of Pisces and slams directly into Aries.
And Aries does not do fog.
No, Aries has sharp edges. The dreamy stuff is gone. Thoughts speed up dramatically. The forecast explicitly notes that patience becomes an endangered species.
Endangered species. I love that phrasing.
It's accurate. The demand now is for real-time responses. You can no longer afford a 10-year projection.
Which is exactly what happens with Sarah Ann. She's a dock engineer on a fringe world called Kaler, and she's dealing with a collapsing orbital ring.
The alarms are blaring, everything is falling apart.
Yeah, and she realizes that if she waits for the Institute's approved, algorithmically guaranteed repair plan, the whole wing will fail and thousands will die.
So she completely abandons protocol, she locks out the automated systems, and initiates an unsanctioned repair.
And a colleague begs her to stop, warning her she's going to kill herself. And her response is just iconic. She says, maybe, but waiting will kill everyone else.
It's such a powerful moment.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though, because I have to push back a little bit on this.
Okay, let's hear it.
Well, if I'm listening to this and I hear that patience is gone and I should just act rapidly, that sounds incredibly dangerous.
It can be.
Right. Like in the real world, if you ignore protocols based on a feeling, you usually get fired or people get hurt. So how does the listener tell the difference between genuine inspired courage, like Sarah Ann, and just being recklessly impulsive?
That is the pivotal tension of this whole deep dive. Action without awareness is just a liability, and archivist Lear Venn actually addresses this directly in her findings.
Oh, right, when she compares the two different crises.
Exactly. She contrasts a military commander on Veridan Prime with a civilian network on Arctis.
Okay, walk us through that.
So, the military commander gets overwhelmed by this intense, unexplainable feeling of an imminent threat. His anxiety just spikes.
So he acts on it.
Yes. Without waiting for data, he launches a massive, unsanctioned orbital assault based entirely on that intensity. And he's completely annihilated.
Because there was no enemy. He was attacking a phantom.
Right. But then on Arctis, a civilian network coordinates a massive, unsanctioned evacuation just hours ahead of a tectonic collapse. And they save millions.
Even though the predictive models didn't see it coming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what's the functional difference? Lear Venn says the military commander failed because his action was an attempt to cure his own anxiety.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he attacked a phantom threat to soothe his fear of the unknown. That is reactive intensity. That's impulse.
But the civilians on Arctis and Sarah Ann, for that matter, they were reacting to a physical reality right in front of them.
Precisely. The difference isn't about having absolute certainty. The difference is acting with profound awareness rather than reactive intensity.
It's the difference between snapping at someone because you're having a bad day versus setting a firm boundary because you clearly see a pattern that needs to stop.
Yes, one is an emotional reflex, the other is conscious action.
And speaking of patterns that need to stop, we have to talk about Thursday and Friday. This astrological narrative goes from a brisk wind to an absolute hurricane.
It really does. The alignments here are staggering. We have the sun aligning with Chiron.
And Chiron represents our deepest wounds, right?
Specifically, it's liberation from past wounding around visibility and your inherent right to take up space.
So those patterns of hesitation just become undeniably obvious.
Exactly. But the shift here requires breaking that pattern through action, not more analysis. And we get plenty of fuel for that action with a massive new moon in Aries.
And it features a stellium, right? Can you explain what that is for the listener?
Sure. A stellium is a cluster of planets in one zodiac sign. It heavily concentrates that energy. And in this case, we have 8 planetary objects, 8, in fiery Aries.
8! That's just wild.
It's practically a traffic jam of pure cosmic initiation. It acts like a massive reset button. But all of this concentrated energy forms a square aspect to Pluto.
Which brings up power struggles.
Huge power struggles.
Yeah.
A square is a bottleneck to agendas crashing into each other. Pluto represents control and suppression. So you have all this fiery new energy slamming into the old structures that want to maintain control.
Like the Imperium trying to suppress the unraveling.
Exactly. But the pressure's too much. And on Saturday, Mercury sextiles Pluto.
Which is when the secrets leak.
Yes, a sextile is a flowing connection. It's a pressure valve cracking open. People say exactly what they mean, patterns become obvious, and the truth just spills out.
And that maps perfectly to Convergence Week in the sci-fi story. Systems glitch out, hidden alliances fracture, and the old order just completely breaks
The
down.
predictive models just shatter.
And in the middle of this chaos, Sarah Ann stands before the Grand Council. Director Helvig is demanding to know why their flawless models failed.
And her answer is devastating. She tells them the models failed because they weren't looking inside the people who have to live with the consequences.
Just a total indictment of over-intellectualizing human behavior.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the takeaway is so clear. This cosmic reset button isn't about having a flawless plan.
Right.
It's about breaking old patterns of hesitation through action. You don't intellectualize your way into taking up space. You physically take a step.
Clarity is the result of action, not the prerequisite.
Exactly.
But of course, all this fiery initiation has to answer to gravity eventually. You can't just burn hot forever. And that brings us to Sunday's transit.
Yes. Sunday is a reality check. Mars conjuncts Saturn.
So Mars is that raw drive we've been talking about, and
Yeah.
Saturn is the solid foundation, the boundaries.
Right. The dynamic energy collides with physical reality. Your drive meets the part of life that asks, can you actually sustain this?
So what does this all mean? We've spent this whole deep dive celebrating breaking the rules, acting without certainty, being like Sarah on. Does Saturn just show up to act as a cosmic buzzkill?
Not at all. The forecast warns us, do not confuse delay with defeat. Saturn isn't stopping you, it's grounding your fire. It wants to structurally support you.
It's asking what you actually want to build versus what you just want to burn down.
Exactly. And this aligns perfectly with the shift happening right around the same time. The sun moves out of Aries and into Taurus.
Ah, earthy, grounded Taurus.
The mood shifts from ignition to stabilization. Aries started the fire. Taurus sits there and asks, can we keep this burning without burning ourselves out?
It's the transition from a sprint to a marathon. And we see this exact evolution in the resolution of the story. The Imperium didn't fall into ruins.
No, it just changed.
Authority decentralized. The Institute's models went from being rigid commandments to just being tools of possibility.
They finally internalized the lesson. Courage isn't having no doubt. It's acting in alignment with your truth even when the outcome isn't guaranteed.
Which brings up Sarah Ann's advice to her young apprentice at the end. The dock is being rebuilt, and the apprentice asks how to avoid making the wrong choice.
Such a human question.
Right. And Sarah says you learn the difference between wanting to feel right and being willing to be responsible for what happens next.
That distinction changes everything. Wanting to feel right is why we get stuck in analysis paralysis. We want to be objectively correct so nobody can blame us.
But being willing to be responsible means accepting that things will be messy. You will make mistakes, but they'll be your mistakes. But I have to ask, how can the listener apply this calculus of fire when they do take a leap and they inevitably make a massive misstep?
This raises an important question, and Sarah's final wisdom to the apprentice answers it perfectly. She says, then you adjust, and you keep moving.
Wow.
That is the Taurus energy stepping in. You don't collapse into self-blame because your first leap wasn't perfect. You look at reality, you adjust, and you keep moving forward.
It's such a profound shift in perspective. To summarize this whole journey, the future isn't something to be perfectly predicted on a spreadsheet.
No, it's something to be lived.
True courage is the willingness to act in alignment with your truth, dropping the armor of needing to be perfect, even when the outcome isn't guaranteed.
Waiting for certainty is really just a sophisticated way of hiding.
So true. So I want to leave you, the listener, with a final lingering thought. Think about that choice you've been delaying, researching to death, waiting for the perfect alignment.
We all have one.
If the universe gave you an ironclad guarantee today that your next big decision will be messy, imperfect, and require constant adjustment, but it will be authentically and undeniably yours, what is the very first step you would take the moment this deep dive ends?
The fog has lifted. It's your move.
Thank you so much for joining us for this. We will see you on the next deep dive.